Good evening, everyone. Welcome. We're going to give people a little more time to come in. We do like to start on time, but we also like to give people time to get in, right? So let's see. Okay, we're letting people come on in. Welcome. And please know that we also have a conference call line, so there may be people also on the phone. So if you hear voices, coming from the speaker, then those are those persons joining us via conference call line. And you're always welcome to join us that way as well. So again, we're giving people an opportunity to come in. Good evening. Good evening. We have our gathering every Thursday at 7 p.m. And we have been walking through the Bible. What we're going to do on this evening is we're going to start something new. We're going to start something called 2022 Reevaluating You. And we're going to do this throughout the year. Once a month, we'll gather and we'll have a talk. So welcome to the talk with Dr. McCoy. But you're also welcome to join us again every Thursday. We're currently walking through the major prophet Ezekiel, through the book of Ezekiel. So we'll do that on next week. But again, welcome. If this is your first time, you're always welcome to join the talk. So the talk is going to be about you. Yes, I see you, Sister Terry. 2022, reevaluating you. And please know that if this is your first time, you can always type something there. And I won't ever call anyone out, but I will respond to you because I want us to learn and grow together. And in order to do that, we have to have a dialogue. And I understand that this is a different type of setting, but we can still share together. So if you have something to say it. And if you ever want to join on the phone, again, you can do that as well. So your voice matters in this space. So greetings to you, A Shepherd's Rod Ministries. So glad that you are here, Sister Deborah. I have suffered for the second time with COVID. I want to talk to you on this evening, not so much about COVID. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty tired of COVID and I'm tired of hearing about it. But I'm going to talk a little bit about the fact that this was my second struggle with COVID. And I'm so grateful. Greetings to you, Sister Dorothy Durham. I see you, Miss Durham. I tell you, the first time I was not vaccinated because vaccination was not available. This time I am vaccinated, and I can tell you that the sickness was severe both times. I'm so grateful. I had to cancel our gathering a couple of times because I've been sick since December. But I'm okay. I'm getting better day by day. I'm learning to slow down. I'm learning that saying that I'm going to take care of myself and doing it are two different realities in my world, and I have to work on it, and that's what I'm doing. So I've slowed down a bit, and even as I'm talking to you, please understand one of the things that I have discovered after having COVID is that your mind, the fog, it can be a bit foggy. So if I say something, like for example, I said something the other day to someone, and I was saying, you have to take care of yourself mentally and mentally. Yeah, I didn't say mentally and physically or mentally and spiritually. I said mentally and mentally. So as I'm talking to you, I'm going to take my time, and I'm going to be sure to try and convey properly what I want to say. So again, it's so great to be in this space and to be recovering from COVID. All right. And sometimes people say, well, why didn't you tell me or whatever? Well, just know that if you are praying for people who are suffering with COVID, then that means you prayed for me. You don't always have to know what we all are going through, but you do need to pray. So anytime you say a collective prayer, you're including people like me. So if you prayed for people with COVID, then thank you so much for your prayers because you prayed for me. And again, I'm going to take my time. So I said it before, I'm going to say it again. Once a month this year, we're going to focus on you. I don't know about you, but I've seen some posts even on Facebook where somebody will say, I don't know who this is for, but such and such and such. Well, I know who it's for. It's for you. Everything I say is going to be about you. It's all about you. I'm going to challenge us. I'm going to say some things that may agitate us. I'm going to say some things that may not feel good. But 2022, reevaluating you. When thinking about the word reevaluate, it means to reconsider. Reevaluate means to rethink. It means to review. So there are some things about you that you need to revisit. There are some things about you that you need to change. And somebody needs to be bold enough to tell you that. Okay, so I'm not going to have this gathering and say, well, I don't know who I'm talking to, or I don't want to offend anybody. That's not what this space is going to be about. Because sometimes when we are made uncomfortable, changes happen. We understand that we will celebrate another MLK Day very soon. Dr. King aggravated a lot of people. Dr. King agitated the systems that were placed at the time. And change ended up happening not because he was trying to be everybody's friend, but because he had to say things that made people look at themselves in the mirror and say, that is me, and I'm not right. So in the spirit of that type of thinking, these sessions are going to be all about you. I know that sometimes we preachers say, it ain't all about you. Well, guess what? It absolutely is in this space. So anytime we have these talks, I'm talking to you. I see you, Brother Pedway, saying, good evening, Dr. McCoy, praying for your strength. Thank you so much. And there are some things that I know that I need to say. And if I had died this second time with COVID, I would not have been able to say them. I'm not going to leave this world not saying things that need to be said. We've been studying the prophets. And the prophets weren't people that people always liked because they said some things that the Lord had them say. Not just what they wanted to say, but what the Lord had them say. So you know what? You might get upset with me, but that's all right. I see you, Sister Tracy Perry. Good evening to you. And many of you know me personally, so you know where it's coming from. So then there's going to be 4 T's that we're going to focus on. So then every 4 months, once a month, there'll be a topic. So that means that these 4 topics will be, the thing, if you will, that I'll talk about. So the first T is togetherness. I'm going to talk about, that'll happen, 4 times this year, because again, quarterly, there's 4. So togetherness will be this evening. Togetherness will be where I talk about family and other relationships. That's the first T. The second T, which will be next month, right? One of those Thursdays. The second T will be time. I'm going to talk about your time. I'm going to talk about time management. I'm going to talk about how you feel your time, okay? So then by March, the third T will be Thanksgiving. I'm going to talk about gratitude. That's the third T. And then the, January, February, March, April will be the fourth T, which will be theology. Talking about just the study of God. Now we will still have our Bible studies. I'm just giving us this information about the talk, okay? So when you see the green background, that's the talk, okay? I see you, Sister Miss Williams, Barbara Williams, saying, let the redeemed of the Lord say so. That's right. That's right. So then again, 4 T's, okay? When you see the green background, I'm either talking about togetherness, time, Thanksgiving, or theology. All right. And on the conference call line, I know you can't see me, and that's fine. But don't worry. I'll say the green background is up. And so we're going to focus on one of those T's. So togetherness. I thought about my time with you and how we've been together since 2011. So this year makes it 12 years, right? And I started to think about, in this space of togetherness, all of the things that maybe I did not say. The things that I could have said. And as I was laying on my back, sick with COVID, I said, Lord, if you give me another opportunity to be together with those wonderful people, there are some things that I will say boldly. Now, I consider myself to be a bold person. Someone asked me today, if I was to describe myself in one word, what would it be? And guess what that word was? Courageous. Courageous. I'm going to tell you, there are a lot of things that I've done in my life that I know that took bravery. Okay. So I know courageous is the thing. And even to have this space of a talk is courageous. Because again, I'm talking to you. I'm not going to like babysit it and say, I don't know who it's for. If you're on here, it's for you. If you come back, it's for you again. So togetherness, I want you to think about the relationships that you have with your family. I'm talking about romantic relationships. I'm talking about relationships on your job, business relationships. Okay, so Dr. King Day will be on Monday. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I told you I'm going to take my time. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I can tell you that when I was a kid, this is the talk, when I was a kid, there were two subjects that I especially did not like and two subjects that I did like. I could not stand history and math, but I loved English and science. Well, I didn't like history in particular because as a kid, I don't have enough time to tell you all of why I didn't like it, but I can tell you that history consisted of numbers. And I was never really a fan of numbers. All of those dates. History also was a time where you had to remember those dates and times. And then history, when I read it, it was filled with a lot of male characters or males, guys. Not a whole lot of girls. There were some girls, but they didn't look like me. So history didn't really intrigued me all that much. And then it was limited when it came to people who looked like me, not just, considering gender, but even considering race. And then when they did show me something in history about Black people, for example, it was like slavery, it was Rosa Parks, and it was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So, and then whenever I saw other depictions, they were negative depictions for me, So then as I got older, though, I understood that history was not just something to take, like a class. It wasn't just something to take. History was something to make. So then I'm talking to us on this evening about togetherness because I want to raise the question, what kind of history are you making? What kind of history are you making? Every day you get up is a writing in the history book of your life. So when thinking about togetherness, what history are you making with your family members? Do you know that there are some people who are nicer to strangers than they are to their family members? If you're one of those people where on your job, you're all smiles and they think you're wonderful, and then you get into the car with your spouse or your kid or a friend and you like transform, that's not a good thing. Examine the history that you're making. So when we're thinking about looking at ourselves, 2022, it's all about you. 2022, re-examining you. I want you to re-examine, look at your relationships with your family members. There is a book that James Baldwin wrote, one of my favorite authors, Black authors, and it's called Nobody Knows My Name. And in that book, he says that the unexamined life is not worth living. So we're going to examine our lives, not examining anybody else's lives. We're not going to talk about the teachers or the politicians or the preachers or the people at the grocery store no, we're going to look at ourselves because the unexamined life is not worth living. And if you believe that your life is worth living, you need to examine, for example, these talk sessions, specifically this evening, togetherness. Let's think about the wellness of your relationships. Let's think about it. Your part. Are you well? So I've been sick with COVID, but I had to ask myself while I'm laying there, in what areas am I well? You can be physically sick, but be well in some other areas. And I'm challenging you to think about the area of relationships. So is your relationship with your spouse like COVID? Is your relationship with your children like COVID? You're walking around sick. This person may have the diagnosis of cancer. This person may have the diagnosis of, the flu or something like that. But you're just as sick, if not worse, because guess what? They can take chemotherapy. There are some witnesses out there that you can be healed from cancer. There are people who, get through the flu. I'm getting through COVID, but how are you going to get through the sickness of your unhealthy relationship and the way that you treat people, the way you treat your family members? This is a new year, and some people have decided they're going to cut people off. you've cut people off. But maybe the fact of the matter is you should not have cut them off. You should have stayed in the relationship and took what you needed to take, because that relationship was growing you. You didn't like the fact that you were growing. You didn't like the fact that it was uncomfortable. You didn't like the fact that that relationship was going to lead to something permanent, because you're used to temporary type things. You're used to part-time things when the Lord was trying to give you something full-time. But because you were a coward, because you are sick, because you are toxic, you cut off a relationship that really could have been that thing that challenged you. You don't want to be challenged. Some people, they'll say, well, grow where you're planted. Where you were planted in a place where not only you could have grown, but you could have spread out. Think about a mustard seed. A mustard seed, it grows where it's planted, but it takes up space. The Lord wants you to take up some space. And I know this is not Bible study. This is a talk, but that's going to come out of me, because I believe that there is a being greater than us that's trying to get us to be greater. But we don't always want to do that, because it's more comfortable to just let it go. Now there are some things that, yes, we do need to let go. But because we're so used to in a new year thinking about, letting go, I'm talking about not letting go. I'm talking about the fact that you need to re-examine yourself in relation to that relationship. Maybe you were the one that's wrong. Maybe you're walking around just wrong. And somebody needs to tell you. And I'm that somebody. You're wrong and you need to get it together, because togetherness is important. Now we're in this pandemic and we're not able to gather the way that that we're accustomed to. We're not, gathering the way we're accustomed to. But I am just challenging us to think about the fact that we were isolated before COVID. Your sickness was there before COVID. And if you don't decide that you're going to be well, not only are you going to be sick, but you're going to pass that along to other people. So when your children see you and they hear you say, well, I'm not going to deal with cousin such and such anymore, or I'm not going to deal with such and such anymore, they think that their relationships are to the point where they can just give up. They can just give up. And you're teaching your child to be a quitter. So how many times are you going to quit? And how many times are you going to hold on? So I want you to examine yourself. Think about that for a minute. I'm going to give us some time to think. I've been doing quite a bit of talking. But sometimes in order to examine yourself, and this 2022 is all about you, somebody needs to say something, and then you need to sit back and reflect. So let me give you some reflection time to think about you, not other people. Are there areas, when thinking about togetherness, are there relationships that are sick? And instead of you being the hero and providing the cure, you're just saying it can just be sick. Or you're saying, I'm always the bigger person. Well, maybe that's who you are. You're the big person. You're going to change that because they're the little person. You're not going to be big anymore. I don't know about you, but I'm going to continue to be big. I'm not going to let, these challenges in relationships change me, for who I am. When I was sick, I was thinking about that. I was thinking about how, if this was it for me, because I was really thinking, oh my goodness, I really don't know, shortness of breath, the way my head was feeling. And I had some other things going on too that I won't share with you, but I didn't just have COVID. I had some other things to where I had to take other medications. And so I was laying there and I was just thinking, just know that it was, a number of issues. And I was laying there and I was thinking, wow, in my life, who have I really been? Not just like on Facebook, doing talks and Bible studies, but who have I been in the lives of those people that I'm close to? What would they say about me? You see what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about nice things people say at the funeral, because, people do that, right? But what does my mom really think about me? What kind of daughter have I really been? Have I been toxic? What kind of sister have I been to my brother? I don't know, people I've dated. What would they really say about me? You see what I'm saying? Some people would say, well, it doesn't matter, it's over. Well, I still want to be a decent human being, you know. Places I've worked, you know, what's my reputation? So again, if you are toxic, you know, look at my mom replying on Facebook. You didn't have to do, she's saying, you have been a very good daughter. Well, thank you, Mom. Thank you. I try my best, Lord knows. But my friends, one day you're going to leave here. Something's going to take you out. And I said before, not all of us are going to make it through this COVID season. And I'm not saying that to be morbid. I'm just saying you're going to die. I am too. We're going to die. And some of us are going to die from COVID. Some of us are going to die from like a heart attack. Some of us are going to die simply from old age. Some of us are going to die from cancer. I know, yeah. We're going to get back to Bible study, and it's going to be all inspirational and all that good stuff. I'm just simply saying now you're going to die. Something's going to take you out of here. And when that happens, would you have been a healthy person to be together with? Some of us want relationships. You know, you want a husband, you want a wife. Do they really need to be attached to you? You know what you want, but would you plague them in some way? Are you healthy enough to be in a relationship? Some people want to have children. Okay. What do you have to give to those children? I'm not talking about right now the money that we make in order to take care of a child. That's important. But I'm talking about, are you going to create little people who become big people and become a big problem? Okay. Some of us want another job. Okay, that's great. Are you going to be the person on the job that people don't want to work with? You know how we say sometimes, ooh, that person is this and that person is that and this and that and this and that. Are you that person? Ask yourself, look in the mirror. Are you that person that people don't want to be around? Whenever they see you coming, are they glad to see you going? These are the things we have to think about, because again, you see people talking about letting go of this person, letting go of that person. Some of us are those people that they're talking about. You're the person that somebody let go. Why? Well, because they're crazy. I did everything for them and Okay. Maybe so. But let's be honest. Let's be real. This is the talk. Let's be real. Why did they really let you go? Let's think about it. If you were to make a list of the things that you did right, okay, did you take the time also to make a list of what you did wrong? If you do that, guess what will happen? In your next relationship, you will be cognizant of the fact that you did some things that maybe weren't so great, and you won't bring that over into the next relationship. Some of us need therapy. Yeah, you need to go talk to somebody. You need to talk to somebody and get some perspectives beyond your own. Because sometimes in order to reevaluate you need somebody to, give you some other ways to think. It's not that you're not smart. It's not that you don't know how to live your life. It's not that somebody's just trying to tell you what to do. You just might need some direction. And you need someone to be an emotional compass for you, you see. And sometimes you don't allow the preacher to do it because you don't trust preachers. You don't trust the pastor. Okay. Sometimes you don't allow your close friend to do it because they don't know what they're talking about. You see, they may have some ulterior motive. You don't talk to this person or that person about it because they're younger than you are. And young people can't tell older people anything, right? So what I'm saying is, if you're one of those persons, then find somebody who does not know you at all. Find a therapist who you can sit down and talk to. Somebody who will say something, guess what, that some people have already told you, but you needed to hear it from somebody else. Some things you already know, but you don't want to accept. Some of those people that you let go told you some things. That's why you let them go, but they were right. So I just want you to think about that togetherness piece. There are people right now who don't want to be around you because you're problematic. So then you need to think, some of us talk too much. Some of us present ourselves like we know it all. Some of us are not patient. Some of us are hot-headed. What is this, the 13th day of the year? And you've already gone off. Nobody wants to be around somebody like that. Some of us are just intimidating. Some of us don't know how to keep ourselves calm. Some of us are not honest. Some of us, people let go of, cut you off because you don't say what you need to say to the person. Some people need you to just say it, you see. But we're so, politically correct, and we don't want to offend anybody. But what if the person won't be offended? What if they just need to hear it? And before they left this earth or whatever, or left the relationship with you, you could have told them. So that's what we'll do in these sessions. I'm going to bring up some things, some scenarios. Let me give you one, for example. Let's say, and this is just hypothetical, okay? So I had been sick with COVID, and let's say I asked a friend to pick something up for me, and they couldn't get it to me. But then let's say, I can drive now. So that's good. And so I go to their house to collect what they got from me, and I'm still recovering. So I think that when I get there, they should bring it to my car, okay? And let's say they don't bring it to my car. And this is hypothetical. This is not for real. But let's say they don't bring it to my car, and I say, well, if he was really my friend, he should have brought it to my car, that water to my car. Okay, there we go. So my thought is, I've been sick. They could have brought that to my car. Okay. And so I just get upset with that friend. Okay, first of all, they didn't have to go to the store to get that water for me. That's the first thing, okay? I'm not a baby. I'm not their responsibility. Out of the kindness of their heart, they went to get the water. That's number one. Number two, that water, it's my water. And they put it in their house. And they put it where they wanted to put it. And then when I come to collect it, maybe they couldn't carry it out. Or maybe, I don't know what's going on with them. I don't know what's going on with their body. Maybe she couldn't carry it out to me. So I need to check myself. People make their decisions based on their condition a lot of times, not yours. And if they're doing you a favor, McCoy, maybe you ought to stop and say, well, at least he did that for me. At least she did that for me. People don't have to be kind. People need to take care of their children. They don't have to take care of adults. So when I'm talking about reconsidering, that's the kind of thing I'm going to be doing as we have these gatherings, just giving scenarios, okay, of how I'll use myself because I can just hypothetically create something and use myself like I just did. So I would have to check myself and say, it's not just about me, it's also about them. So in order not to fall out with him or with her, I need to check myself. Okay, so that's what we'll be doing. So that's all I've got. That's the talk. I talked. I want to thank you for being here on this evening, and I want you to be patient with me as I gather my thoughts. I hope I was able to do that on this evening. I really am just going to talk to you like I would any friend, okay? And just be honest with you. And I just thank God for you. Thank you again for praying for all those dealing with COVID and other things, because I did have some other things going on. But I'm okay. Just know that I'm okay. I'm a fighter. And the word that describes me is courageous. I'm going to continue to be brave. I'm going to continue to be courageous. And I'm going to continue to talk to you. So as long as you keep joining, we'll keep on talking. So may you be blessed and may you be well as we walk through 2022, reevaluating you. Not saying I don't know who I'm talking to. I'm talking to you. All right. Blessings to you. Let me read some of your comments here. I see you. Someone saying this was good. Someone saying we need to listen more. A good talk. And that's why God gave us one mouth and two ears. That's right. And I'm going to talk it to you. I see you enjoy the talk. We'll be back. Okay. And remember, if you don't want to be on these sessions, don't show up with the green background because I'm going to say some stuff. Okay, I see you saying you look great. I missed the beginning. Oh, thank you so much. Don't worry, this is recorded. I'm going to boldly and courageously post these as well with the green background. I see you. Keep fighting on. I will. Praying for your life, health, and strength. Thank you so much. And now you're saying you'll go back and review it. Okay. All right. So thank you for your patience with me. I really appreciate it. And I always say, if it be the will of God, we'll be back. I'll be back on next week, and we'll go back to our Ezekiel Bible study. Okay. If that be the Lord's will, and if that be my will, because again, I do a lot of studying, and I know you all know that. I love to study. I love to read. I'm just going to take it easy a little bit. And by the way, just so that you know, for King Day, I will be, pre-recorded some things for the state of North Carolina. There's a King Day on Monday, or King Day. It's going to be on your television, and it's statewide, and I'll be delivering one of the prayers. So I just thought I'd tell you that, so it won't be a surprise. Be like, is that Dr. McCoy up there praying? Yes, that'll be me. And then for the town of Morrisville, North Carolina, I'm the King Day speaker for their event, and that's virtual as well. So if I find it and see it, I'll make sure I share it here, okay? What else? I think that's it. I'll keep you posted, all right? All right, the talk. Go in peace. And thank you on the conference call line. Have a great evening.